Wilson Morales from Black Women TV talking to Marcel Spears, who's about to reprise his role in Fat Ham as Hamlet over at the Geffen Theater in LA. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good, Wilson. Thank you for asking.
So the show just started, obviously in LA. What's that feeling like making that transition from Broadway to LA?
Uh, it's not really a difficult transition. I feel like we've been doing this show for so long. I think it's gonna feel weird not to have to come back to it. I think the benefit of bringing it to LA is because of all the buzz in New York and because I live here and I have friends here, I work here, I have some family here. There's a heightened anticipation for it, and so the audiences that we get so far are like really excited. They've heard so much, they've read so much, or they haven't heard anything, and they're just like, "What's all the what is everybody so excited about?" It's just nice to bring it to this community, I think.
How long was the pause between Broadway and LA?
The pause between Broadway and LA, we finished on Broadway in July or just before July. Um,
So
so
close to
like
a
when
year.
yeah, like half a year.
Okay.
A little,
So is it like going back to riding a bike again? Because you take a, it's one thing when
you know what it
you do it on
was?
Broadway, you're a machine. You know you have to do it 8 times. It's like
Yeah,
you're ready to go. Your mindset is every day got to do this. Then you
yeah, yeah,
take
yeah.
your break, and then you take your break, and then you do whatever you got to do. And now you're coming back. So whether it's not you're putting on weight, you're gaining the hair again, who knows? Did you have to
Yeah,
do anything in between that time to get ready again for LA?
I did. It was a little bit of a transition. It's a little bit of both. Like it was partly like riding a bike again. Luckily, we have most of the same cast, and so everybody was family. We already knew the play, and so getting back to saying the words again felt really natural. Everybody sort of got back in their groove, but it was a little bit of a transition. It was like, oh wait, what is this? I did that last time. I was doing all of that. Like, oh man, what did we? Can we change it? Can we do that? Also, I cut my hair in between, like after I got off Broadway and I was filming on the neighborhood, I cut my hair because it's easier to deal with shorter hair. Like it's easy to deal with a fade than it is to like every week have somebody braid my hair up. So I cut my hair for the neighborhood. At the end of the neighborhood, I start growing my hair back so I can get my braids back. And so that was a bit of a transition because now I got to go back to like I gotta call my braider back. I gotta like detangle and I gotta like figure out all this stuff to do with hair where I've been spending months where I just wake up, brush it out, and go hit the door. So that was it was a transitional phase. But once we got back into the groove, it was like riding a bike.
And then obviously, what's it like coming back with that same cast?
Oh, it's good. It really does feel like a family reunion. Um, I love these people so much. I work with them so much. I trust them so much. There's a lot of mutual respect and like true joy working together, especially on this particular play. Like we've done it since we were at the public. This is our third year doing this play. And so I think everybody is just really appreciative of being in the space together. It feels like a class reunion or a family reunion kind of vibe.
Mhm. So what are people getting? Obviously, for those in LA who are not familiar with how Broadway is, don't sleep. Some people don't. Can we explain shortly what is Fat Ham?
So Fat Ham is a reimagining of Hamlet. It takes the classic Shakespearean play Hamlet and sort of remixes it, sets it in a backyard barbecue of this Black Southern family. Um, it is it looks at Hamlet through the lens of Blackness, through the lens of queerness, and how those different identities shape, impact, and affect the story. And also, it's in a modern context as well. And so it hits all the same emotional beats, but it feels a lot closer to home. I think if you like Shakespeare, if you love Shakespeare, you get everything you need from Shakespeare in this play. If you don't really have a relationship with Shakespeare or don't really have knowledge or don't really care for it, you get everything you need from a really, really juicy family drama in this
Mhm.
play.
What did you do to get into the mindset of not just character? We know a lot of us know Shakespeare, we know the story of Hamlet, but this is a different take. To get into that mindset of playing this individual who has a realm of different things going on outside of what we normally read from Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Juicy is dealing with a lot, and I think on top of the classic Hamlet theme of like revenge and what that means in family, like avenging a father's death, and what that looks like. Juicy is dealing with like a really complicated family dynamic where he is sort of outcast in his family. There's a lot of toxic abuse, toxic family dynamics. There's a lot of generational curses, things that, because we have this sort of modern context and this modern sensibility, because therapy is a larger part of community and culture, like people have these terms about generational curses. People have these terms for toxic masculinity, and they have a broader spectrum of what abuse can look like and what abuse is. And so we have all of this information, we have all this vocabulary that we maybe didn't have even 2 generations ago. And so Juicy is now sitting with the weight of having to navigate his family with all of this on his plate, on top of now a father that he has a very difficult relationship with because he's a queer person and his father doesn't really accept that, doesn't really hold space for that. Juicy now has to figure out how to, or what does it look like to show up and avenge his father when his father hurt him so much in the past. It's like, it's thick. It is thick with drama and like meat, as actors say. It's a lot to take on.
But it's funny, it's dramatic, it's something that audience can come in, and not just seeing what we know of, what we expect to happen, but they do it in a different way.
Yeah.
Speaking about father, obviously, we all saw the story last year. Beyonce concert, it's like if you ain't on stage, you're making news elsewhere. And this is, I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that the guy in the TV show? So it's like you're either being seen on the screen, you're being seen on the stage, or you're being talked about because of some other drama, which is in a way, hey, good. All news is good news.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was that feeling like? Obviously, this is a story about Hamlet and fathers and stuff like that, and now you're a newborn father.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did give me. It's one of those things where like you have context that you never had before. Like I didn't know what it meant to be a father until I became a father, and so seeing how Juicy's family treats him, I could not imagine treating my daughter in that way. And like I have friends and family with different relationship dynamics. I'm the son of a preacher. Like my parents are very religious and different things like that, and we don't always see eye to eye. But the extent to which Juicy gets othered in his own family and criticizing his own family is just so intense. And the sad part is, it is a reality of a lot of people in this country. And so just putting myself in the mindset of understanding that the person doing that kind of abuse doesn't necessarily see it as abuse in a weird, twisted way. They see it as parenting. They see it as love. Juicy being queer and being Black is seen as like 2 strikes against you in this country. And so his family are trying to like, in their own misguided, twisted way, trying to like help Juicy by telling him, hey, you can't be that free. You can't live that way. You can't be fully who you are because it's dangerous in this country. They don't protect you in this country. They don't love you in this country. You can't be that way. And so that aspect of it was never fully contextualized for me until I became a parent. I understand like the way that you love a child and the responsibility that you feel in raising a person. And I think James does such a brilliant job of like weaving in these really, really dense, really, really weighty themes into this play that is very funny. Like every time you feel like it's gonna go like really, really left and really, really dark, James somehow like springboards it and finds humor or levity in the play. And I think that balance, that sort of yin and yang, is what makes this play so beautiful and so impactful.
Mhm. You during this show, being the lead, with the acclaim that it got, the Tony nominations, now you're doing it in LA. How has this helped you out as a better actor when you get back on set to the neighborhood?
I don't think I don't think so much the nominations have helped me become a better actor.
But more
I
so
think
being a lead, being the center point,
yeah,
obviously when you're in the neighborhood, it's an ensemble, so
yeah,
like having been now thrusted in this big role that you've had on stage,
yeah,
you know, skill
yeah.
set
I
wise,
don't
you
know.
come to the neighborhood with a new perspective.
I don't know, man. I'm not I don't feel like I'll say this. The way that Cedric leads on the neighborhood is he leads by doing. Like he's fully like a servant leader. He will do the thing that he's asking everybody else to do. He will show up in the ways that he's asking everybody else to show up. And I think those are the kind of leaders that I gravitate towards, and those are the kind of people that I sort of emulate. So even if I'm the lead of this play, like I'm gonna treat it like an ensemble. I'm always gonna treat it like a team, especially because like even though I'm the lead, I'm not the most senior person on this show. There are three people on the show that are like Broadway vets and
Billy,
legends.
I know
Own right,
Billy.
Billy, who's we call him Broadway Billy because Billy always on Broadway. Billy, Nikki, who was nominated for Tony last year, and Benja, who has a slew of awards and nominations as well. Like these people have been working in this thing for like 20 years and putting in that work and doing beautiful, beautiful work. And so I lean on them, even though I'm the lead of this play. And so the way that I try to show up as a leader is just making sure that I'm doing everything that I can to push this play as best as I can to tell this story as clear as I can. And I hold everybody else accountable for that. And we hold each other accountable and up to that standard. And I think the way that it translates to the rest of my career is it just gives me a heightened sense of the way that I want to show up as an artist and the way that I want to show up as a person. Like I don't ever think, and I hope that this isn't like a situation where I'm eating my words later, but I don't think that I'm gonna be the kind of person that sort of takes on that diva role. I'm not really comfortable in that. I'm also not really comfortable as like the big I little you role. Like that's not how I lead, and that's not how I like to show up in the room. I show up in the room being like, yo, we are all in this together, especially in theater and acting, like on television and film. It's such a collaborative thing. Like we all doing this together. And so I want to make sure that everybody's is working to their potential and everybody is doing what they are expected to do.
Mhm. For those who are watching the neighborhood, or you may get a new audience now that they can watch the neighborhood, where are we now with your character on the neighborhood?
You know what? Art reflects life. Truly, it does. And so when I had my daughter, when my daughter was born, and like I said, the neighborhood, the TV show, that cast and crew is like family. So everybody was texting me, everybody was calling, everybody was like, "Oh my god, like this is crazy! Like congratulations, blah blah blah." But our writers in particular and our producers were like, "Huh, that seems like a really interesting story. It's something that is real. It's something that happens to people all the time. Like unexpected pregnancies do happen, and how we choose to navigate them is a part of life." And they were like, I mean, you would never expect that from this character, Marty, but Marcel, do you think we could borrow a piece of this event that's happened to your real life and like allow Marty to sort of go through something similar? And I was just like, man, I guess, I don't know. Like, I don't know how it worked because I didn't see it for Marty. I didn't expect it for Marty. But after they wrote it out and I saw the script, I was like, okay, this is kind of like it's obviously it's funny because it's a comedy, but the way that it happens, I was just like, okay, I get it. And I think it is really one of those stories that because it's such a human story, I think a show like ours is the perfect place to tell that story and have people sort of bear witness to Marty, a young man who is like very intelligent, very ambitious, who wants to like have this career and he wants to have like a wife and then a family, sort of. And he's very anal about making sure that all those things happen in that order, have his life sort of turned upside down in this way, and try to figure out how to navigate being a parent when he wasn't expecting it, and like do that in a way that is still filled with dignity and respect and care. So yeah.
And at the end of the day, obviously, you got the show that's on TV. We're hopefully getting that renewed, if not already, you know,
Hopefully.
so then keep that day job going. It's like we all want the day job, and
For
CBS is great
sure.
at keeping those day jobs. I just did a post regarding the FBI series. It's like, yeah, you get on CBS, chances are, you have a good run. You can save
Look,
your
and I
coins.
saw that. Look, I saw that FBI pickup too, and I was looking like, huh, that looks nice. That looks real nice. Must be real nice over there
you
on the FBI.
know, like, yeah, the publicists and managers like, yeah. But obviously we're on stage. We want to promote people to go out and see Hamlet. For those who have not experienced the theater out in LA, what's a good reason for people to come out and see Fat Ham?
Fat Ham is a good time. It's a roller coaster ride of a play. If you've never seen a play before, I think this is a perfect play to go to, because this play is at times very traditional, and then at times completely unconventional. It breaks all the rules. Our playwright James is really and truly brilliant. I can't say that enough. He sort of ignores the fourth wall, which the fourth wall is the thing that makes the characters and like allows the audience to suspend their disbelief and like go on this ride of storytelling. That wall is broken, so the characters on stage talk directly to the audience. The audience is a cast member, and so you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. You will be, I think, impressed, shocked, confused, and I think you're gonna leave with this sense of joy and love and warmth, and that's what we want you to take out into the world when you leave this play.
Mhm. Marcel, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. Obviously, you got a lot of things going on, which is great because I always say when talent works, we work. We always need stories to promote. This is a good one to talk so that way people can talk about it, whether it be on stage or on TV or whatever projects you got going. We're here to support wherever you're at. Obviously, get ready to get back on stage, do your thing, and we'll talk down the road.
Yes, yes.